Hey, we're your hosts.
I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we believe that one of the most valuable gifts you can give to yourself is the gift of wholeness through integrating all aspects of what it means to be human.
And in this podcast, we're bringing you insight, information, and inspiration to move from a stressful to stress-free life.
Your journey to becoming even healthier and happier starts right now.
Welcome to Wellness Theory, the podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. Today we have a very special guest. This is one of our very first client spotlight episodes where you get to meet the incredible people that we get to work with every day. Today I'm excited to introduce you to Widad. She is an inspiration, and after listening to her journey, you will find out why. Enjoy. Hey Widad, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm good, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So let's just jump right in. I'll let you introduce yourself, who you are, kind of where you're from, what it is you're up to. We'll go from there.
Okay, so my name is Widad. I'm 22 and I'm a computer science student. I'm in Saudi Arabia. I love dancing and ballet and contemporary classes, dances, lyrical. And actually any form of dance. Anyway, I love to learn new things and love to enjoy life.
Amazing. So Widad and I met actually last year, and before we kind of jump into that journey that we've kind of been on together towards the back end of last year, I would love for you to just share a little bit about kind of, you know, your upbringing. Like how did we meet? Like to tell people listening, like, you know, what was your upbringing like and how did our paths end up crossing? Because obviously everybody listening knows that I'm from England, you're in Saudi. How could those paths possibly cross? So let's go from there.
Exactly. Basically, I'll tell you about my upbringing. I was when I was younger, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and I was 13, and after that everything changed. She passed away because it was stage 4, after that I felt like I was responsible to be a good girl, to have good grades, to do things, to be successful, to make it less on a burden for my father, because he was an only dad and used to take care of us. This was just me thinking about all that, and I used to take good grades until I started working, and then when I started working and learning about dance and teaching dance in years after, I realized I read so many books, I do so many things, I read so many books, and I feel like there are emotions that I didn't let go of because I tried to be so strong. And especially when I was younger, I tried to be so strong and not show these emotions or not let go of emotions, and try to distract myself with a lot of things, with a lot of work, with the studying, anything I do, it's just a distraction. I would go to school and then go back to school, do something afterwards until night and go out with my friends. So I used to always be distracted and try to make sure I look happy in front of my family and be like a success, try to make them proud. But at the moment I had so much emotions inside that I just didn't let go. I tried, I once to go to a therapist, and I just didn't feel comfortable there. And I did go to a life coaches, and I wasn't, for some reason I just didn't trust them. I'm not trust them, but I wasn't that comfortable, or I wasn't sure what I'm gonna do. What is it gonna happen? I wasn't sure of the process, and I wasn't confident about it. I don't know, something inside just told me I'm not sure if this is for me anyway. Once I was going through Instagram and I came across your Instagram.
Okay.
And I was like, this is interesting. This is very interesting. I'm like, let me try. You actually contacted me, and I'm like I already thought about you, and you did contact me, and you're like, hi, I followed you. And I'm like, okay, no, this is something, this is a sign. And I'm like, okay, let me just do a meeting with them and see what I can do, and tell her all about like how I feel like I'm not emotionally free, and it's like been years, and I felt like, oh, this will never change, I'll stay like that. And yeah, I talked to you, and we did have the meeting, and like, I don't know, after the meeting I was like 200%. I was like super excited. I'm like, no, this is it. Even though at that time I was not working, and I'm like, okay, oh, how can I afford this? But I was like, I need this. I really need this at the moment. This is what I was looking for. And I'm like, I'll just do it no matter what. I'll just pay for it and I'll do it. It
Amazing.
was yeah.
Listen, it was great connecting with you that in that kind of very first, instance there, and that first call, I remember
Yeah.
clearly. But before we kind of go there, I mean, thank you so much for obviously sharing what you did just there about your mum and your upbringing, and some of the things that you've been through, because you've been through a lot, and not many young people tend to maybe go through something like that.
Yeah.
People obviously go through their own traumas, and it's a big load to carry at such a young age. And I think it's great that you're only 22 now and you've already worked through this stuff, which is very, very impressive, but inspiring as well for everybody listening to this. So what I'm curious to know is, like, how did you know that you had emotions to let go of? Like, how did you know that? Was you like overthinking because you had this brave face on for everybody else? What was going on behind that brave face?
Yeah, like I wasn't really happy. Like I would go at the end of the day and I feel I wasn't that happy. I felt like I wasn't ready. Like when people talk about marriage or like having someone with you, I was always thinking, no, I'm too scared for that. I lost someone I really love, which was my mother, and I'm like, I can't really love someone and maybe lose them. It made me think a lot about these things. And also one of the reasons I used to work a lot, I'm like, okay, what if something happens to the one I love, like my dad lost my mom. I need to be ready and I need to have security for me just in case. I like and like it did affect me in a way. And I was like I was like sad inside, and I just try to forget about it and ignore it, and not talk about it. And it was one of the big reasons where I told you, like, I want to be emotionally free. It was so important. It was either me taking life coaching or like me taking one of the like the emotionally releasing courses that you had, and I was in between those.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I wasn't doing my things well, like the tasks that I want to do for myself, because I felt like I'm not worth it. I don't feel like I have self-worth, self-love, especially like when you lose someone who used to give me all that motivation, all that love, all that care, which is usually from a mother. But my dad, honestly, after she passed away, he did try to change, like for us. He tried to be like the mom and the dad, but it was still like still different, because he's our father. He provides for us, he cares for us. And like you still have your mother, which she gives you the love, she gives you the motivation, she gives you the support. And yeah, that was her. That's like, this is what I used to get from her. And the love, the forgiveness, the calmness, the peace that I had from her. And my dad was, because usually sometimes it's different. Sometimes the moms are the ones who are like, but like for me, it was my mom.
Definitely. And it's important to have that feminine energy in our lives, isn't it? Whether it's mum or dad, it doesn't matter, but it's just making sure that you're feeling whole and feeling that self-worth regardless. And again, thank you for sharing that, because a lot of people will be able to relate to that, because even without going through such a tragic loss, people will be feeling that they feel not worthy. I felt that in my time as well, and it's hard, it's not easy. I remember like some of the things that you said in the very beginning beginning is like you felt like you got almost triggered relatively easy, you took things personally, and that's quite draining as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I did actually take things so personally. Yeah, whenever someone says something, I'm like, no, it's not, that's not what I did, even though they don't mean it in a way. But I was like super impatient, not super, I can't say super, but a little bit impatient, and in a way where I take things really personally and like get angry, and sometimes I get annoyed from other people's action, and like I wanted to be not bothered. Why am I so bothered by people? Like, it's okay, it's their thing, even if it doesn't suit me, it's like it's their thing. But I was like super super like bothered with these things, or these comments where, okay, maybe they don't mean it, but for some reason I'm taking it super personally.
Yeah.
Because go back to, I don't feel worthy that much, so I'm like, obviously they're attacking me somehow. I don't.
Absolutely. It's our nature to be defensive when we feel like we're under attack, isn't it? And that's the thing, like is our thought process will really interfere with our relationships and how we receive other people's actions and communications and this kind of thing. And what you was experiencing there, which obviously we've discussed at length in the past, is emotion that just bubbles up under the surface. All of that emotion that was there inside behind that brave face that you described earlier. You know, it was almost like popping out every now and again when somebody would say something or do something that was potentially nothing to do with you. I know you would feel that emotion would suddenly come up, and that's just for those people that are listening, that's what happens. It's almost like if you're boiling water and the hotter it gets, the bigger the bubbles. That's kind of what's happening under the surface of our emotions. We're bubbling up, and then just the smallest things sometimes, when it's actually even nothing to do with us, can tip us a little bit. And I know that's something that everybody listening can relate to. Listen, I'm curious to know. So obviously, I know you was very excited when we first spoke, and I think that kind of stayed with you throughout the process from what I could see as a coach. But listen, what did you expect? Like when we first started and you made the decision, I only found out later, obviously you told me that you ended up kind of almost borrowing the money to do the coaching, which was amazing. Just
Yeah.
a massive like indicator of how committed you were to change. But what did you expect from almost signing up?
Okay, so basically I'm like, I will finally be emotionally free. That was the first thing. I'm like, I need it because this is like an investment for myself. That's exactly what I thought. This is an investment, because I remember I had a convo with my dad, and I was like, Dad, this is an investment for myself. Like, how am I going to be successful if I am still like emotionally triggered, and I have so many emotions I didn't let go, and I don't like feel so like I'm not doing the right thing. I need guidance. If I start, like, I'm 22, if I start like having those guidance now, it would become better for me later, because I will be more successful at 23. I'll be more successful at 24. And then by the time I'm like 30 or 40 or even maybe 27, I'll be like something great, because I don't have those emotions. I don't get triggered easily. I can now have a peaceful and calm self, so I can work on myself, and like work even harder to get motivated more. So all of these thoughts I was thinking, like what I expected actually,
That's
like
amazing.
by investing on myself.
Listen, that's one of the things that I've told you this before that inspires me the most about you, is like you're very wise to be thinking that way at such a young age. And I don't want that to sound patronizing and show my own age here, but I wish I thought like that when I was your age, you know, because you're absolutely right in everything you've said there. You know, the earlier you learn this stuff, the easier life becomes after. You know, something that other people might be finding a challenge with later in life because they haven't dealt with all of this stuff that's going on inside of them, or taken the time to understand just how wired they are, and what they can leverage and what's natural, and how to actually have a relationship with yourself. That it makes your life so much easier compared to somebody potentially that hasn't. And that's obviously already starting to show in kind of where you're at now, but also what your future is going to look like as well. There's no doubt you're
Yeah.
almost guaranteeing your future by taking this time for yourself. So those were your expectations. When did you start noticing change?
I did start noticing change from the beginning in a way where we started talking about the way I think. And I'm like, just noticing that, I felt change. I'm realizing, oh yeah, I am thinking the wrong way. That my thoughts are really the wrong way. That's why I'm feeling like that. That's why I'm doing that. These are the times where I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. I've been doing things really wrong my whole life. My thoughts are like super bad, and I'm like, it's not worth it. Like they're simple thoughts, but those thoughts become something bigger, and you start feeling worse. You still start feeling no self-worth, no self-love, and just from those thoughts. And like even your action changes towards those thoughts.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, yeah, like even just thinking, okay, I'm always lazy, or I'm lazy. Like one day I was lazy, let's say, and I was like, oh, I'm lazy person. Then I'll be lazy. Like I'll be more lazy. Not just that one day, I'll be more lazy.
Exactly. When you start identifying,
exactly those thoughts.
Exactly, with the thoughts, it takes you to a different place. We've all heard like these little quotes that go around, like, we are what we think about, and if we change what we think about, everything else changes. But sometimes we don't really know the depth of those kind of quotes that we read. And when you really start listening to those thoughts and listening to that inner dialogue that's going on, you'll be able to actually start to leverage it and tweak it and almost take control of it in a way, so that you actually can start running the show. You can start actually inputting the narrative that you actually want, and obviously things change from there. So I think that's great, because quality of thinking is something I talk about all the time.
Exactly. And exactly, for me, I know these things. Like I've read so many books about thinking, about diet, about health, about being a better self, because I love reading self-development books. And basically I did read these things, but I just didn't put them into action, because it's not as easy as having guidance would be, because I knew all of these things, but like, well, what's the point? Because that's why when someone told me, oh, you can read more books, because my father was talking about this, and we were like having a conversation. I'm like, Dad, I've been reading my books my whole life, and like I know a lot of things, but I just need that push, that knowledge, from someone who's experienced, because those books at the end of the day, they do give you awareness and all that, but like sometimes it's like, okay, they tell you this is bad, but okay, what action can I make?
Definitely. Like, reading books is probably like the most common thing that people do before they get a coach. In my experience, that's what I did as well. It's exactly the same thing. They're listening to podcasts, reading books, and it's all great information, but if we don't apply the information, it becomes useless. And knowing how to apply it to yourself, that's where the power is, that's where the magic is, that's why the best books that are out there are the ones that actually do initiate change, and that's why coaching works so well. So that being said, like, what was the process of coaching like for you, especially compared to reading books? What was it like?
It was super nice, honestly. It was very life-changing. Like I learned so much about myself that I never knew I would learn. I think I would have learned them like when I was like years after, and I was super happy because every day I was learning something new. And I remember a couple of times I was so emotional. I don't know if I told you that or no, but like I was super emotional. Like I wanted to cry because I felt like I'm actually taking time for myself, and I'm actually taking care of my emotions. Like I'm finally, after years of feeling low or feeling like there's so many emotions, I feel like, okay, I'm super happy. I'm taking care of myself. I'm thinking about my emotions, my thoughts. I'm feeling worthy. Every time in every session I felt more and more worthy, because okay, I'm like literally putting strategies for myself. How can I be better in this? How can I be better in that? I'm learning more about myself, what works for me, what doesn't work for me. I was like building myself. I was literally building myself in every session. And I also love the other than just building yourself. I was also making myself more calm with the breathing and the techniques and the and also just organizing my life, with the sleeping, with the eating, all of these things, they just work together. And it made me like feel like those weeks made me feel like I was I don't know, like somewhere I was never in.
That's amazing. Listen, that's like music to my ears, hearing you say that they all work together, because obviously everybody listening to this podcast knows that this is what we talk about all the time. And to hear it from somebody else that's actually experienced it and is now realizing, yeah, do you know what? Things really change when we start to take this almost holistic approach.
Yeah.
But building yourself every week, like week on week, I could see you shifting. And as a coach, that's my favorite thing. That's my favorite thing by far about coaching. And you just showed up to every session, every time, doing the best you can with what you had at the time, and you were flying. And no doubt that you will continue to do so, but it was a really an honor for me to see that and see you evolve and kind of build yourself up in that way, because to hear you now sit and say things like, I am worthy, right, like almost what was I thinking? Like, I just love that. I think it's so powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, what was your favorite part of coaching and why?
Oh, that's a hard question, because a lot of favorite things, honestly. My favorite thing I can say is that I'm finally seeing progress. Like this was like I don't know the feeling exactly of how I felt, but I just felt really good. Like I felt like finally, I feel I see the potential. I see hope. I see it's going great. I'm like I'm flying. I don't know if it makes sense. Like I'm flying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, I um, I loved the conversations. I loved that, um, like the questions I ask and my curiosity and your answers. I loved feeling like, okay, I'm in this session. Those are my tasks, and I'm done with those tasks. And like very enjoyable tasks also. And I loved that. I loved also one of the main thing. I know you said one thing, but like I can't.
Okay, you carry on.
Yeah, I loved the breathing techniques like you helped me and we did together. I really enjoyed those. Um, and um, and yeah, just like overall was I can't have one main thing, but just everything all together like made me feel so good.
Perfect. And that it's kind of nice hearing you say that, because it really is an accumulation of many things that create change.
Yeah.
And it's
Especially that like there's a solution for everything. Like we were fixing my diet, my health, my exercising, my sleep, my so it was everything. It wasn't one thing. And what I love is we didn't only focus on those actions, we focused on the mind, we focused on the heart, and like everything together interacted, and like it made me better. It wasn't only one thing. You weren't just focusing on the outside things, which are okay, come on, I'm a life coach, let's fix your diet. Okay, I'll fix your diet, that's it. No, you're fixing on fixing me first, like helping me first, not fixing me, but more like helping me, but you did fix me a little bit.
it was all you, it was all you.
Yeah. And yeah, like helping me inside, and then like so I can take those actions, so I can take the healthy eating, the sleeping well, and the exercise.
Nice.
And everything else.
Perfect. And that's one of the things we pride ourselves on here, obviously at Wellness Theory, is we do the deeper work. We do the work that really matters, because it's easy to fix one thing here and there, and it's kind of easy to try and fix career or find the best thing in a relationship or whatever everybody kind of wants to achieve. It's very easy sometimes to fix those things, but the deeper work is what needs to be done. Otherwise we're always playing on the surface, and
Yeah,
to
exactly.
have that lasting change that's going to help you forever, it's important to combine everything,
Right.
and do it all at once.
Because actually, when you think about it, I did fix, like, let's say just an example, I did fix my sleeping before, I did fix my diet before, but for some reason I go back to being the same old me who don't, like, my diet gets ruined or my sleep gets ruined, and it's always like a life cycle, it's a cycle, always, all the time, because I there was something emotional inside me where it's making me feel like, okay, I'm not self-worth, honestly, to have that, or like to eat healthy. I don't have the self-worth for that. And yeah, which I keep on doing this cycle of I know what's right and I know what's wrong, but I'm still doing those things. I'm still going back, I'm still being lazy, I'm still being not motivated, more than lazy, to do those things, because inside I'm like, I only did those things for distraction. And like now with the healthy eating, I'm not really making anyone proud. It's okay if I not eat well. It's okay if I don't sleep well. I'm still getting distracted somewhere, somehow. I'm fine. I'm good.
So that being said, like, what's life been like since you've finished? Like, because those cycles, a lot of people can relate to that start, stop, start, stop. You achieve something and then you kind of go back to square one again. Like, it's very, very common. I've experienced that myself as well, when we're all human and it happens, and it will happen potentially again at some point on some level, but just never as the extreme as it has been before. You know, you'll have times when your sleep isn't as good as it could be because you're socializing, or you'll have times where all you want to do is maybe just treat yourself and let go of like healthy eating habits and boundaries and this kind of thing. It's going to happen at some point because we live in the real world, and that's super okay. But it's understanding how you kind of get yourself back on track with that. So what's life been like since we've almost like wrapped up and finished coaching?
So basically now, a lot of things have changed. Like, even if, which is totally normal, like you said, even though I stopped working out, I don't have that thought of like, okay, now I have to start again. No, every time I go back like normal. And it's actually true, because you don't actually really stop, because I did used to work out a lot. When I stop, I don't go back to zero, like zero push-ups. No, I can still do those push-ups. Maybe I don't have the stamina that much like before, but like it's easy to get again. It's not like you start at zero. So this, just me thinking like that, like, changed. Before I used to think, no, like I'm starting all over again. What is wrong with me? I always stop. But it's not. Now I know I'm not stopping. I'm going on. I just had like a 1 day off, which is okay, or 2 days off. No, I'm continuing. Which these thoughts, when you change these thoughts, they make you actually more motivated to go. Like, before I used to pause a whole week or a whole 2 weeks, because I felt like I'm always going to stop. I'm not doing well. I'm always not going to do well, and all of that. Like, I was so hard on myself. And now I'm like, no, okay, yesterday I didn't do it. Okay, good. I was enjoying my day. Now today I can start again, with the other things, with my continue doing my routines, doing everything. And now with the better sleeping, I'm sleeping well. I feel like more better now. I'm able to realize, like, of course it's not like I'm not getting emotional. Of course I'm getting emotional, but I'm able to let go of these emotions. Yeah.
That's huge, because like knowing what is going on within you is really the key. Like, it's all one of the keys. But like you said, you're going to get emotional. You're a human being. You're supposed to feel all the extremes of being a human. You're supposed to feel good and amazing on some days when something happens, or you're generating those feelings for yourself, and other days they might be a bit tougher, and it's okay for you to feel the consequences of that. But it's about allowing yourself to feel it, learning from it, letting it go. And you've mastered that very, very well. And what you just said there about like the exercise, yeah, you know, again, so many people will relate to that, because you know, it's so easy to feel guilty for missing something and then being hard on yourself, like you said at the beginning about like, oh, you tell yourself you're lazy and then you reinforce that behavior. That's gone. Like, it's just a case of, no, exactly. I enjoyed my day yesterday. Okay, I didn't get to exercise, but today I can continue, and you get back on it a lot faster. that makes you resilient, and that also makes you stay on track even when some days it feels like you're off track. But 1 or 2 days in the grand scheme of things is not going to change your long-term results, and that's why obviously you can have that change stay with you forever, because the thought process behind it all has shifted drastically, which is amazing.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so listen, like what's like your plans for the future, if I can ask that? I mean, it's obviously share what you're comfortable sharing, like, but what do you plan on doing moving forwards? How do you plan on using all of these skills and things that you've learned about yourself moving forwards?
I actually I would like, I know I'll be something great. I'll know I'll be successful. I know I'll like, I am working on myself more than I used to work on myself. I know now how to fix my lifestyle in a way where I can like fully work on myself, and like work, be better in my career, be better with my relationships, with my family, with my friends, in all of these aspects. I know I'll have a future, a great future. I will do the things that I love more, like being specific. I don't have, like, I can't really be specific because I'm still 22. I'm graduating this year. But like, I know everything is going to be like aligning together, you know.
And that sense of knowing is what guarantees your future. Just hearing you saying it
Exactly.
like that, I just know it's going to be aligned. It doesn't matter if
Yeah.
you know the outcome. And I say this all the time about detaching from a specific outcome, because life isn't about the end goal. Life is about what you're experiencing along the way.
The process, yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I want. That's all I care about, because I don't really have like a certain future. And actually, to think about it, like, I don't really want one, because I know we change, we human beings change. And now I might say something, I want this thing, and then later I'm like, okay, I want this other thing. It doesn't matter, as long as I'm feeling good, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling loved and self-worthy, I have the self-worth. All of these matter the most, because as long as I'm happy now, or like I'm emotionally free now, and I'm enjoying the process of just working of something, even though that something is not gonna, like, I don't want that something later, but still just the process of me just working on myself, and like doing the things that I want.
Nice.
I feel like are important.
Perfect.
Are more important. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. And the linguistics there, that you're like even more important, even more. Like I love that you automatically just pick yourself up on this stuff as well. I think it's brilliant. Listen, okay, I've got one last question for you, and that is, listen, if anybody listening to this is thinking about coaching, what would you say to them?
I say definitely go ahead. Make sure to choose the right coaches, honestly, because from experience, I tried, I did, and it just didn't work for me until I honestly met Charlotte. But definitely that is very important. And yeah, a lot of things are going to change, things you don't realize you're having problems with. And yeah, just it's like a really good guidance for you, for life coaching. You learn so much, and it's all focused about you. And that's the most important thing, because it's all going to be about you and how you can change your life.
Nice. Perfect. Listen, I can only echo what you've just said there. I mean, you know, getting the coach that's the right fit for you is the key here, because I know some fantastic coaches out there. Obviously I am one, my husband is one, you know, it's something that we absolutely love, but it is about having the conversation. It is about speaking to people, letting people know what are you going through, and then ask them how can they actually help you, rather than just signing up blindly to something and not being sure of what to expect. Go in there with an idea of, okay, no, this is what I want to achieve, this is what I'm struggling with, how can you help me as a coach? They're the kind of questions people should be asking. Obviously, if anybody wants to ask those questions, they can reach out anytime. But you know, you did exactly that, and this is where it's led you, which is beautiful. And it's been an absolute like pleasure for me to coach with you. You know, listening to you talk, not only today but in sessions as well, seeing your progress just literally lights me up. And as cheesy as that sounds,
Thank
that's why
you.
I do what I do. you know, your results and your progress is an absolute testament to you as a person, and it's far from a lazy person, just FYI.
Yeah.
It's far from that. But listen, I really, really appreciate, you know, you allowing me to be part of your journey, because it's an intimate process, coaching, and it's something that, you know, again, like I've already said probably countless times already in this episode, let alone before, is your future is going to be guaranteed as a result of the work that you're doing. You keep this growth mind that you have, and you will no doubt but thrive moving forwards.
Thank you so much. And honestly, just talking to you, it was one of the best choices I've ever made in my life. Like the time when I talked to you for the meeting, because it's I don't know, but like I'm super proud of myself just to take that action and like to talk to you, because honestly it is very life-changing, and I'm like super happy to have worked with you. Honestly, it was on quarantine. We were actually quarantined, and yeah, I actually had a lovely time. even with those hard times, I was happy. I was working on myself
Nice.
during quarantine with you. So
Brilliant. Well,
thank you very much.
Thank you as well. Thank you for joining us. Listen, on today's episode, I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to what you've been through, what you've experienced, and I think they're going to be inspired a lot by your journey. So thank you so much for coming
Thank you
on the
so
show.
much for having me.
If you enjoyed this episode and you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.
Please share it with a friend who you think might benefit.
Spread the word. That's how we're going to impact the world, by helping each other.
We appreciate you so much, and as always, unconditional love and wellness to you.